For your health and wellness needs, visit alsherbs.com, ALSHERBS.com, because your health is your wealth. For all your tech support needs, visit ASCS Technical Services at ASCSTS.com. We have on-site service as well as remote support options. Check out brokegeniuses.com. Stay in the know. Order some of our latest merchandise as well as use our financial tools to help you on your daily financial journey.
What's going on? This is Tech Tuesday, and this is the Bro Genius. We are going to talk about Airbnb today, and one of their competitors. Now, the reason I felt compelled to talk about Airbnb, one, their stock is their company is going to IPO, I believe, this week, or if not, sometime in an up and coming um current future. So they're pretty much filed their paperwork for IPO. While back, I think a year or two ago, they initially were planning on doing an IPO, but they had some problems with just basically the overall company. So they basically scaled back, but they have been doing fairly well. I mean, actually not even fairly well. They've been doing very, very well in this pandemic crisis with certain areas and markets, keywords, certain areas and markets, because it's been some issues with Airbnb with hosts as well as guests, but they have been making money. Okay, a lot of times with companies, they don't make profits; they make money, but they have to learn how to. It's kind of like a person. Like when you're young, you got to learn how to save your money and have a budget. Well, companies, it takes a long time for companies to grow up. For example, Amazon, it took them about 15 years for them to actually turn a profit. Okay, so they since then have recently filed an IPO, and they basically are trying to get on the market. So that is one reason I wanted to talk about them. But before even all of that, the reason I felt compelled to talk about Airbnb was basically I invest in real estate, and I have bought a few properties over my short term, as far as the short term past, as far as probably I would say I've been in it for at least about 8 years. I've been in different properties, deals, and whatnot. I learned quite a bit over the course of 8 years. I'm pretty much at this point somewhat of a go-to person when it comes to real estate, because I know quite a bit. My uncle's been in real estate, and I've also, fresh out of high school when I was 17, I took a real estate class, and I just pretty much got a long history with real estate. So it's a person that I used to work. Well, I used to work at a college, or university, and basically, this young guy, he was one of my subordinates. It's like a student worker. He was gifted a property by his dad that was a construction worker, and he was about 24 years old, and he kind of got me. He got me, gave me the Airbnb bug, because what this young guy was able to do with Airbnb was he was able to leverage his property. What's going on, Soul Shader? I wasn't sure if you was gonna catch the midday show, because basically I'm just trying to do this in times where it's down times, and not so much late in the day, because when I leave work, I'm just like all the rest of you. I want to get up out of here, and I want to go. I don't want to be like hanging back trying to do a YouTube live show just because I promised it. So I'm trying to I'm trying to get this done quicker than normal. But this young gentleman, he gave me the Airbnb bug, man, because I was thinking about doing Airbnb back in 2015 or so, because I had a property that it was kind of, I fixed it up. I like kind of fix it up, like you could tell that my remodeling skills, if I showed you pictures of this house, um what I did as far as things is just very basic. Even the kitchen was never done. The bathroom wasn't done. I replaced the toilet, but everything else in the bathroom I just cleaned very, very thoroughly. And it was okay. It was all right, but I'm a perfectionist because I'm a Virgo. I didn't feel compelled to take a stab at Airbnb. And to my own regret, regretted that decision. Let's see here. I was able to buy some Nano Dimension and Planet 13 shares a day and made $50 off. Oh, okay, so it went up. Okay. Yeah. Soul Shader, I bought some oil stocks. I saw Finviz, and I basically saw that oil energy was revving up, and it's not surprising because it's getting cold. The colder it gets, a lot of people got to use oil, natural gas. So I bought I bought a little cheap oil stock. Let's see what I did, because I think I only bought about 75 shares. Let me see what this company I bought. Last I checked, I was up a buck so far, which is great, because I'm still at the 43 mark. Yeah, so I'm up a buck so far today. So this is what I bought here. WS here, and yeah, I'm trying to see what's up with the oil, because I think the other position I had that I talked about yesterday, I don't know, I was kind of getting a little bored with that company, so I just got into there. But hopefully, I already got my stop loss at 40, actually 40 cents. So I think it was at 44 when I bought it. So it's gotta probably be at like 40, 45. So I got a stop loss at 40 cent. So yeah, I'm just letting that do its thing. But yeah, I mean, this young guy that I met over the course of working at the university I worked, he, had this house that his father gifted him, basically, and he lived in the house. And what he did was he basically said that he lived on the first floor, and he had a second floor that he just basically exclusively rented out to Airbnb guests. So this young gentleman basically made about, he said, $1,500 a month just off of his two rooms he had for guests. The house that he had, it was basically, as he said, he stated, it was located near O'Hare Airport, like about 20 minutes away from O'Hare Airport. And it was a nice house, nice area, not like no well-to-do area, but a decent area. And in that one house, he made $1,500 a month for two rooms. Okay. And he lived in the house. I'm done with oil now. I lost about 1.5 investing into oil when COVID popped. Oh yeah, I definitely took some losses with oil, no doubt. But yeah, he pretty much had this house, and that's what he was netting from Airbnb. And I told him about my house that I had before the one I have now, and he said basically that you should have rented out one of those rooms and that you had, because see, here's the deal, like I had a 3 bedroom house, and I basically I had 2 bedrooms that I could have rented out technically. Like, I mean, Airbnb, I was actually thinking of going that route before I went with to live with family. And it was like, okay, should I be like literally down the street from my grandparents' house, or in a freaking bunk bed, or should I just go to my grandparents' house and just deal with whatever I got to deal with the best way I can? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, deal with my grandparents, because, like, why would I go get a bunk bed with a whole bunch of other people around me? Probably like 5 or 6 people, because this like one lady, she had a nice little house, and not too far from my grandparents, and it was like she had bunk beds in it, and other sleeping arrangements and stuff like that. And I say all that to say, basically, I could, because I had like an office room. You could literally have a futon. A lot of people don't know this. Like, you could have a futon in your office. So I could have had a futon in my office, and that could have been 1 bedroom. And then I could have sold it as, or listed it as a like a office room slash bedroom that you have access to the computer. I could have totally made a login for guests, and I have, printer and everything hooked up. And I also had another room that was unoccupied that, like, I pretty much kind of had for my daughters, but my daughters ain't never even spent the night in that room. I mean, um that's a whole nother story. But I just basically, that room could have been like, I could have made it where basically just put one bed in there. And yeah, I mean, I could have like took the crib and put it like in my like main room, or the like room right next to the kitchen. And yeah, it was like basically I had two rooms that I could have used. But I regret that I didn't use Airbnb, because what he said is like, even if your house is like kind of like, you're not, it's not like all nice and stuff, you could have just like rented the room out to some people for like $25 a night or something like that. Because you gotta think, like, people are trying to use Airbnb because they're trying to look for deals. They also want to you know, kind of get a long term situation as well. And then also, they just want something not conventional, such as like a hotel room. And that's what Airbnb offers. So I just think to myself how much money I could have made, and how better I probably would have fared, because had I had like, somebody like a long-term guest or even a week guest or even whatever the case may be. I mean, I got two rooms unoccupied. Okay, I could have just made my room, just put a computer in my room so I have me a little home office in my room and just like literally made at least $50 extra a day versus what I made. And I had like a rent to own contract with that house. So I would have been able to just pay off of whatever I had to pay, which was like I think about $400 a month. I could have paid that off within 10 days of someone occupying the space using Airbnb. But I'm so like perfectionist. I was like, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable, you know, renting my space out because of the conditions as far as the kitchen and stuff. But the flip side is I regret it. I totally regret it. And basically I could have used that money not only to pay for my own space that I was living in, my own house, I would have been able to use that money to be like, you know what? Well, I'm making money with this house and whatnot. I'll just take this money and then I'll just put it into the rehab in the kitchen in the bathroom, and I could have done that within several months, with or if not 4 or 5 months, and then totally would have been in a better position because it was a time where it was a couple times that I had lost my job or I got laid off or whatever the case may be. And I could have been collecting money off of not only what I was collecting money off of, but I could have also made money off of Airbnb. And it's just like, it's just one of those moments where you put your hand over your forehead and you like, oh man, why did I not do it? But in hindsight, that's what I think of. That's why this topic is definitely something that's important to me. Now, also, the house that I'm working on now, I definitely have at least one small room that I plan on leasing, or not so much leasing, but hosting guests with and making a little bit of money. This particular situation, I'm gonna look at the market rates of my particular city, which would be Gary, Indiana, and I'm gonna see what they're actually renting out. And I mean, I think at least for my small space, I mean, the house will be, newly remodeled. So I should at least get $30 a night. Very much so, $30 a night will be enough money that I mean, it'll be all profit because I wouldn't have no mortgage, no rent. I mean, it'll be enough money to basically I could just use to just put money in an account and just basically not even touch it, because I mean, basically I would have to split it with my friend if he ever pays me half of whatever he owes me. That's a whole nother other story. But yeah, I mean, that's what my plan is for the future. Airbnb is definitely in my future. Another thing that I like about Airbnb is that you might not like I don't like the actual fact of being a landlord. I mean, I like playing chess and I like being the idea of being a king and having a queen and all that and castles and all that. But, I don't necessarily want to be a lord. I don't know. I don't want to be a landlord, okay? I just want to get my money and then, what I'm saying, same time I don't know you. Airbnb is kind of fits more of my style as actually owning property and actually having it leased out to other people. It fits more of my style, I would say. Now I'm going to go into a slew of articles going to show you basically what's going on in the real estate market. Friend of mine, he got way more money than I got. He's guy that's older than me. Play actually, he actually what he not only practiced, he he was a starter, in high school. Okay. And he's a real estate investor, newly real estate investor. And basically, he told me, he's like, you know what, man, broke genius, man, nah, man, you thinking, because I thought my mind in the Chicagoland area, I thought that real estate was plentiful as far as like deals, and I thought it was a buyer's market. He said, "Nah, man." He said people are, because he got way more bread than I got. He works he's got like a he works for an energy company. I'll just say that, and he makes some bread. He probably make double, triple what I make, and he been working for a long, long time. Because the longer you work, a lot of people that work a long period of time, depending on how much they save, they got a lot of paper. So the thing about it is, yeah, he got, probably his credit is most likely better, and then he makes way much more, and he is newly married again once over to a beautiful wife, and yeah, and she got money. So now you got two people that are like a small power couple, and it's got money and putting that into real estate. So this gentleman, he's way more under knowing of what's going on in the full fledged real estate market in the Chicagoland area than I am. Because like I told him, I look for properties that are cash deals because I ain't got no credit. I ain't planning on trying to get no mortgage no time soon. I stay in my lane, so I just pretty much look for houses that are $0 to $30,000. Okay, so I don't even go up to no 100,000, 150. I don't even look that far because that's not in the range of what I'm looking. But he does, and he said basically those houses in the Chicagoland area are basically, people are fighting over them, like not even fighting, but just basically outbidding other people to get those properties. Now, this first article that I posted here, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about it. So, definitely, if you in here, hit that like button, hit that on arrival, and we're going to talk about this article here. So, this article is from Yahoo Finance. It's originally from Bloomberg. $1 million home buying soars with U.S. rich on a shopping binge. So we're gonna talk about that, right? Now I could have saved this for actually Wealth Wednesday because this kind of goes into that, because I'm also gonna be talking about real estate and Wealth Wednesday. I know some of you might be more of the stock side of the game than the real estate game. I'm a double threat. Okay. So I'm the dude that I could pull up the jumper, and then I could also, zip right past you real fast and do a layup. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a double threat. So I mess with real estate and stocks, and I'm very good at both, and I'm actually getting better at real estate, and then also learning every day about stocks. But needless to say, this article, the title soars. Okay, basically, $1 million home buying soars with U.S. rich on a shopping bench. It definitely jumps out at you. The title jumps out at you. The bold highlight lettering jumps out at you, and it's what I've been talking about. Okay, with even my back in November when I gave my outlook, I gave my projections, my current projections. I gave you the basically the flow chart with what I see in the upcoming future with this COVID thing, right? Well, this is here. This is December 8th, 2020, 9 a.m. They just wrote this article and posted it. So yeah, people that got money already, they waiting for this. They know this is the time. This is the time that basically that we need to jump on this, because we got the money and we gonna buy as much as we can. We gonna make this so our Our not only we're good right now, but our children are also good. So yeah, the wealthy are definitely buying homes. So I'm gonna read this about a couple paragraphs, and then I'm gonna let you read it. That's why I dropped the link. So wealthy Americans, largely untouched by the recession and eager for more living space, have been on a home buying binge. Demand for $1 million homes is growing faster than any other price tier in the pandemic driven US housing boom. In October, applications for mortgages larger than $766,000 jumped 59%. The biggest gain for all segments measured by the Mortgage Bankers Association. By comparison, the increase for mortgages from 150,000 to 300,000 was 13%. Investors are concerned it might not last. Shares of luxury builder Toll Brothers Inc. Okay, when the broke genius finds companies, he automatically goes into research mode and sees what their stock is doing. That's what sometimes I do. And in this case, this is what I'm going to do. Now, this is considered a REIT, right? And we all know about REITs. REITs are actually doing worse than no, REITs are second worst as energy, as Soul Shader said, as far as things. But you had an opportunity when I went back to the 1 year, you see where the pandemic, you did have an opportunity with this company to actually ride it out and make some money with it. Okay, so it bottomed. Well, the 52-week low here is $13.28. The 52-week high is $50.42. So this is a luxury home building company. Okay, this is a company that basically you go to when you got some cash and you want to build a home, like broke genius when he gets on when I get on step 11. You know what I'm saying? I might want to holler at Toll Brothers as I go on their site here or look for it. I want to go and see what they can build for a player. Okay, so I'll just go to a zip code that I know and see what they got for a brother. So what they got for a brother is a whole bunch of houses that are expensive as hell. Okay, and they only got three of them. Now they got one that's in South Barrington. I know where that is. That's way up north. It's kind of northwest a little bit, and this is what they have. And yeah, this is pretty nice, pretty nice. Um, but the thing about it is, I wouldn't do this. Okay, I wouldn't do it. Now they have other models and stuff like that. Now I wouldn't do this because the thing about me is, but it's other people that they got a lot of paper. They would do this. And they got another one in Batavia. Batavia, I believe is also up north. It might be west, maybe. I mean, but I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like up northwest. Now, this is a nice property because I like the brick, but it's brick over frame actually, but actually not frame, but yeah, you got siding, and then it's not 100% brick, but it's looked nice. What's the dimensions on this or what? They really don't have. Okay, so it's like a 4-4, so it's a 4 bedroom, 4 bath. Okay, so this is a basically they're a home luxury builder. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I would probably more or less put money in their stock than actually buy one of their properties, because the thing about it is I don't necessarily like custom homes like that. I like homes that more or less are built by, if I was to, like, that is also one of my goals or bucket list items. I want to build a custom home, but I don't want to build a custom home that somebody else built for me. I want to design a home with my architecture. I mean, and basically do it that way. I don't want any home that somebody else just gave me. I want to just, go into my architecture's office, and we design some type of house that's going to be a signature to her, and then also to me, because I'll be the first person to actually, invest and buy this property. So I would be on this design, on this blueprint, as the original owner. That's what I would more or less do if I had like the money to actually do it. But these people, I'm sure they do customization as well. But you got paper, you a millionaire, you a Uber millionaire, you gonna call Toll Brothers. You gonna drink you some Toll Brothers coffee, like I'm drinking my coffee right now, and then you gonna call Toll Brothers to build you a house. I mean, it's just that simple. So yeah. Um they're saying that basically that they're that the shares of luxury builder Toll Brothers Inc. fell the month most in a month Tuesday, after the company crushed estimates with a 68% jump in home orders for the 3 months through October. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys read that, you know, and we're gonna go into Airbnb. This article, this is real quick. I'm gonna just briefly talk about this one. Airbnb is offering hosts company shares, but millions may miss out. Okay, this was November 18th, 2020. Um, it's basically saying that the platform is directed a share program in a rare move. So I really don't know what the gist of this is recalling, but that's pretty interesting. I mean, if I was a host, I would probably sign up for that, because I remember when I worked at UPS, I was working for shares. So when I left the company, I made a little money because UPS shares went up. So yeah, I'm gonna put this article in the chat here as well, and then when I finalize everything, I'll put those in the description. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna go. Let's see here. We're gonna talk about this one too, and then we're gonna go show Airbnb. So Airbnb IPO is reasonably valued, but still has three risk investors should watch for, equities analyst says. Okay. So a couple bullet points. Airbnb is set to make its public market debut this week. So let's see. I mean, it could be real time. They could already have been public. I mean, I ain't in. I don't be watching the markets. I mean, I'm like I say, we here. I've changed myself to be more of a long-term investor. So I ain't necessarily, I ain't watching the stock market like that. I don't watch my stocks every 5 minutes anymore. I just don't do that, because I'm making more money being more long term. Okay, so um we gonna see here. It doesn't see Google will say if they already have a price. They haven't had a price yet, so they haven't hit that gavel on the New York Stock Exchange yet. So hopefully they'll do that soon. So let's see here. So yeah, um, let's see what this says. It says, uh, so yeah, they still talking about it. They still hyping it up. So they haven't hit the gavel yet. So once they hit that gavel, they announced that they're officially on the ticker. I guess they haven't made it to the ticker yet. Okay. So we're gonna read these couple of these bullet points. They have a valuation of 26.4 billion and 29.8 billion. It's a reasonably valued IPO, according to David Trainer of New Constructs founder and CEO. Trainer added, however, that investors should be cautious of the risk of the company, including Airbnb's exposure to state and local regulations that would restrict business of home sharing. Read a couple of these paragraphs here. Airbnb is set to go public this week with shares scheduled to begin trading on Thursday. Oh, okay. So that's yeah, a couple days from now. Okay. So Thursday they gonna hit the gavel. So the home sharing company is aiming for a price of $44 to $55 a piece. Now the only person I know that could buy that is definitely not me. It's probably Soul Shady because I ain't got no $44 or nothing to buy no damn freaking Airbnb, which would value it between 26.4 billion to 29.8 billion. Another one is probably Yacht PJs. He probably got some money. He quiet, so he probably got about probably 10 to 20 times as much as Soul Shady got. David Trainer, New Constructs founder and CEO, says the IPO is reasonably valued. Unlike other recent IPOs and several stocks where valuations are sky high, Airbnb has a plausible path to profitability, wrote Trainer in a recent note. Okay, so basically, we're gonna go into Airbnb. We're gonna go into nearby destinations. Okay, yeah, you can geotag the hell out of me. Okay, fine. 8, we're gonna be there till, let's say, Friday, one guest, and that's me. So anybody above 13 is an adult. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So as you can see, let's just see what we have around here. Okay. So, all right. So. All right. We gonna go just click on any random apartment or whatever. So you got an apartment that's like $65 a night. Okay, so just imagine how much money you could actually make if you're just renting out an apartment for $65 a night, a nice apartment. Okay, I'll tell you what if it's a good area because I definitely know Chicago. It looks like it is in Chicago. No, it's in Galena, Illinois. Don't know that much about it, but then you just, I guess you could well, that opened up another tab, but I'll just go to Galena because I not really that familiar with that's a suburb in the Chicagoland area. Okay, so go to maps here. I mean, it's a nice town or city or whatever. I know that, but just want to see where about it is. So we're gonna zoom out and see where we at. Let's click this to speed it up. I'm using a different computer. Oh, this is really, really far. This is near Iowa. Oh, okay. Well, we not trying to go that far, but they making some money out there, definitely. So what we gonna do is we gonna drag this over and we gonna search in this area here. So, ooh, wow, $28. Wonder what that's about. Okay, so okay, they got one little private room. Let's see what this is. This is quite interesting because I was mentioning, like, you just have a lower scale price, still make some money. So Lake Forest, Illinois, $28 a night. Now I'm gonna tell you guys, this is a freaking deal right here because you basically Lake Forest, Illinois is basically a upper class city. Okay, it is like so yeah. So yeah, I mean you could see basically it's up and running. People are making money. This woman is a super host. She got a lot of reviews. I guess that's a good review scale or whatever. She's making money. She's got one queen bed, you know, nice, very nice neighborhood. I'm surprised that she even has a bedroom available because in Lake Forest, I mean, shoot, this is a deal. Like, I mean, this is almost a steal. Like, that's a very nice city. Very, very nice homes. Just classic houses. They have like houses that were built in the 1800s. They like Victorian style houses, mansions and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a bit going on as far as that. I'll probably come back and look at that, but yeah, as you can see, that's Airbnb. Now, quickly, I'm gonna go into this company, and then I'm gonna talk about this company, for example, which is Verbo. Now, the thing about this is, Home Away was called before it was called VRBO. It was called Home Away, and as you can see here, basically they bought out Home Away and changed the company Expedia Group. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Expedia Group for a little bit because they are in the business of basically rentals of I mean basically hotels, travel, right? So yeah, I mean Expedia Group is one of those companies that's very, very expensive. Okay, very, very expensive company as far as I know. Last I checked. Okay, yeah, $126. Let's look at their year to date. Yeah, you could have made quite a bit of money because things exploded after the pandemic in March. But I know I'm going kind of fast, but you just have to do the homework if you wanted to actually do the homework. I just wanted to show you really quickly that Expedia Group bought Home Away out. Okay, so basically they changed the name to Verbo. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put in Chicago because this is one of one of Airbnb's competitors. And then I'm gonna finish this off by showing you this couple that they are in the Airbnb and they're making a ton of money. Okay. So I don't know what happened as far as I noticed that this company this company is kind of looks different. Now, what Expedia might have done, let's go back to this Expedia article because um they might have done was okay, so they say Home Away was founded in 2004 and they moved to Austin, Texas 2009. Okay, acquisitions. Okay, so yeah, all right. So they 2006. Okay. Verbo acquired them in 2006. Okay. So it's something basically okay, Homewood has disputes with Overland similar okay. All right. So yeah, I don't really know. I guess they done killed their competitor because their competitor is not operational. Yeah, I don't know. Something ain't. So I don't really. I know they have other competitors, but it's something going on with that company. Maybe they got bought out and they in another market. Because I saw something about them being in Australia. So yeah, but anyway, this couple here, this is one of my favorite YouTube couples, okay? These two individuals is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about business and investing and everything. Like if you're really into it, you really need a partner that's into it too. Well, this is what you have right here, ladies and gentlemen. These two individuals here worked, right? They worked a 9 to 5 and they basically used the fire movement and basically they basically exited their job using the fire movement and post this link here and basically fire stands for financially independent retire early. Okay, so they use that, they retire early, and then they invest in index funds and like Vanguard and stuff like that, and they became millionaires. And they're talking about how they making money off of Airbnb. Now I'm gonna close this one off. Fair use. and talk about these wonderful people, this lovely couple here.
Guys, it's Aman
and Christina
from
from
Our
Our
Rich
Rich
Journey.
Journey.
I am so excited about today's video because we are finally going to answer the question that we get all the time about Airbnb. And it was, how was our experience as hosts? If you've been watching our channel, you know that we're real estate investors. And at one point, we had 3 Airbnbs all going at once in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we were making about $7,000 to $10,000 a month doing Airbnb. Well, on today's video, we are going to share with you what we learned and give you guys some tips if you are thinking about starting an Airbnb.
So in this video, we have 10 tips to share with you. These 10 tips we use throughout our Airbnb experience to be great hosts and to generate a lot of side income.
Number one is have a business plan. That is something that, yes, if you have an Airbnb, it is a business and you should treat it as such. So what we recommend is identifying really what you want to accomplish with your Airbnb from a business standpoint. How much money do you want to make? How much you'll charge? Who is your target audience? All of those things are things that you should identify in a plan for your Airbnb.
As part of your business plan, you really need to understand the rules and regulations for your city as it pertains to Airbnbs. Now, these ordinances may restrict the amount of income that you can have or restrict the amount of days that you can have your property listed on Airbnb. So you really have to understand that because that's really going to impact your bottom line.
And regulations are always things that will affect your business. Again, this is a business, and we really want to stress that.
And number 2 is understand that an Airbnb property is a lot different than a long-term rental property. With an Airbnb property, you're really in the business of customer service and hospitality.
And like Christina said, this is a hospitality business. So if you have a rental property, it's really a passive business. It's a passive income generating business. Your tenants go there, they stay there for years and years, they send you a check every month. Maybe you never even talk to them. But with an Airbnb, you are dealing with people every single day. You are changing out sheets, maybe every other day. You are actively engaged in running your Airbnb.
And in certain instances where you're not doing the work yourself, if you're not changing the sheets yourself, if you're not cleaning the units yourself, you still have to supervise those people that are doing those things.
Okay, so now that we have those 2 tips out of the way, let's talk about what we learned doing our business. And so the third tip is develop a nice check-in plan. And for us, it was having something like a self-check-in system. So all of our units had an automatic lock or an automated lock that we put on the doors so that when tenants or guests arrive, they could check themselves in without us being there.
So the check-in process is really the first experience that the guests are going to have when they come to your property. By installing a keyless entry, our guests could check in and leave whenever they wanted, and they didn't have to rely on us to be there whenever they needed to get in for the first time. It makes for a very seamless check-in process, and it really reflects on your ratings when the guests leave also.
And number 4 is having a professional photographer take pictures of your unit. Now, when we first started, we took our initial pictures ourselves. The pictures weren't bad, but when we brought in the pro, it was amazing. I wanted to live in that Airbnb. Well, everyone should want to live in your Airbnb. But the point is that when you do something like an Airbnb, treat it like a business, go all out, but take those costs into account when you're developing your business plan.
Now, depending on where you live, Airbnb sometimes offers free professional photography, and that's what we use. But it depends on where you live. Sometimes they will charge, and sometimes you can get it for free. So you should check that out, but you should definitely not underestimate the power of a very good professional photo. And number 5 is understand the spacing of your property. If you want to get more people in, you can do that by using more bed space. You can put in bunk beds, you can do a couch that rolls out into a bed, but the more beds you have, the more people you can have in the property and the more you can charge.
Now, there is a drawback to having too many beds and too many people in your house. The wear and tear goes up a lot faster. So this goes back to your business plan. Do you want to have an Airbnb that is just for 1 person or 2 people, or an Airbnb that is for 12 people? That all depends on your plan and the space that you have available. And number 6 is continue to talk to your neighbors about their experience living next to your Airbnb unit, because there are adjustments that you can make to mitigate any of the negative impacts that it has to your neighbors. Now, not all neighbors are going to like your Airbnb, but that is up to you to.
Now I'm gonna let you guys finish that one. I'm gonna put that in put all of these links that I've talked about in the description. Um, basically I want to just close things off by saying that basically they were just giving y'all free game right there. Those are two black millionaires that are talking to you. Like they unless you go to their channel, which I put the list in there, you wouldn't know that, but they're millionaires already, okay? So the thing about it is, yeah, they're giving you free game. If you already, even if you have an apartment, you can, if you have an extra room, you can actually rent it out in with Airbnb. Now might need to go get approval from your landlord. If you got a rent to own, you wouldn't need no approval. If you got property like even on contract, or you're renting a house, or I mean, and that's the same case as an apartment, but if you got a mortgage on the house, you can rent it out, or not so much rent it out, but you can host guests with your property, your space. And you see you got the bunk beds and everything, the bunk beds in there, so you can have, like, if you comfortable with it, you can have like 10 people in your house. You can just literally have a room. One room can have about probably four bunk beds. I mean, well, four beds in it, because you just have two bunk beds on each side of the room if it's a decent sized room. And even like, for example, like my house, technically, if I just wanted to just go ham with it, I could. The bedroom that the contractor installed when I was showing on my video on home interiors, that room can host about, technically, uh four bunk beds. And that's two beds apiece. And the other room on the other side of it can do just the same. So you talking about what, about 16 beds in one house. Like, that's literally, but that's, I mean, that's kind of like going, I wouldn't do that, because that's going like crazy with it, because, like, I mean, come on. Like, I think that ideally you could probably go with like two bunk beds in the room, so that would be eight rooms. I mean, eight possible beds. And then if you just wanted to do the whole house, you could have like one room. So you could technically have like nine beds in one house. But the thing is, like they said, you don't really want that many people in one small house. It's gonna be a lot of clutter, a lot of conflict, and a lot of cleanup, and as well as a lot of damage. So I would just be, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even do the whole bunk bed thing. I would just do the, just, if you got a bedroom, just, a bedroom, got a small room, have a little futon, and that's it. But the thing is you can, it's definitely profit potential. That's why I'm talking about this. And if you didn't know about Airbnb, I mean, you should look into more into it, because a lot of a lot of people, if they knew about Airbnb, they would make money in it, but they just don't know. And it's like, basically, it's just basically you're renting out a space for temporary time. Like, it could be anywhere from a day to a month, or even longer. You might have somebody that, like, for example, I was actually looking for Airbnb, and I was looking for a space for, like, I knew I needed at least a couple months. So I could have rented out a space for about 90 days, because I needed temporary housing. So Airbnb does offer that, okay? They're a competitive alternative to hotels. One of the reasons also why hotels are kind of struggling is because of the Airbnb effect. Airbnb is probably to hotels what Uber and Lyft are to the taxi industry. Okay. they are definitely disruptive. Okay, Airbnb is very, very disruptive to the hotel markets. Okay, so basically, it's something that you could check into because, like I said, I'm not into literally like the idea of being a landlord is okay, but I would say that I'm more of a person that would be interested in Airbnb. Is more opportunities to make money, make more money than actually having a traditional rental, or a person that rents out a room. Like for example, traditionally, if I just rented out a room, right, I'll probably be like, all right, just give me $500 a month, right? Well, with Airbnb, I can charge someone $50 a night. I mean, just 10 nights, I've already made $500. Okay. Then I got, 20 more nights to possibly make $50. So the profit potential is a lot higher with Airbnb versus a rental because you can actually rent out an entire house with Airbnb as well. So, because all I had to do was just put in, instead of one adult, I just could put three adults, and they'll tell you how many bedrooms. But some of the people, they have the like bunk beds and stuff like that. But the thing is that, yeah, you can rent out an entire house, and you can make way more money than if you rented an entire house to just one individual for a set monthly price. So you got that. You could probably say, safe to say, for like a fourth of the month, which would be like 7 days, you can make as much money as you would renting out the entire house. Okay, with Airbnb, because of the profit potentials, because temporary stay is just more expensive, right? So that's just, you kind of like get into the hotel space, like you're more in, Airbnb is more like being a kind of a private hotel, type of host, or whatever, or pretty much it's just like it says, bed and breakfast. That's what the B&B stands for. So this is pretty much. And I also wanted to mention that, and I mentioned this in my other tech talks or whatever. The Airbnb is not um what you think it is. Airbnb is actually a tech company. That website that I just showed you, they have a patent on that website, and they also have an app. They have an application on Google and Apple, and they're actually, they have technology. Okay, that geo tag, that geolocated where I was, and put in the location and everything. I was in Illinois. All of that is integrated within their applications as well as their websites, and they have technology, they have patents. I promise you, Airbnb has patents that makes them, their code that they actually have for their platform is actually a tech, it's technology, it's a tech company. It's not what you think. It's a real estate, it's kind of somewhat of a real estate company, but not really, but it's really also a tech company. Okay, so just wanted to throw that in there as the final caveat. But yes, I wrapping this one up. Hopped on earlier to get this one on out the way, and I'm pretty cool. I see some people hopped in and out. So by the time 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock rolls by, it should be finalized and up live on the YouTube side. So you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next one.